So with that, we'll call the December 1st, 2020 full city council meeting together. The clerk will call the roll for attendance. Make sure you're unmuted. Sorry, didn't mean that. Just make sure you're unmuted for the attendance. To the clerk. You're muted.
I'm like, why isn't Juan answering me? Anderson Burgos?
I am here.
Bartley?
Here.
Graney?
Here.
Hernandez?
Here.
Leahy?
I'm present.
LeBron Martinez? Here. Lisi? McGee?
Here.
McGivern?
Here.
Murphy?
Here.
Sullivan?
Here.
Tallman?
Here.
Bacon?
Here.
All right, so we'll go right to the top of the agenda. Item 1 was laid on the table from last meeting. In order that the city council rule be added to the city council committee assigned in the prior term remaining in effect for elected councilors until the president-elect assigns new committees.
Make a motion remains on the table.
Second.
Motion that it remains on the table. We don't have to remove it at all, but all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, have we heard back from legal on that yet?
No, not yet. And I think that's kind of why we have not heard yet.
Thank you.
And I know Crystal and them had the holiday and stuff, so they are
Right.
doing the best they can to catch up. So a little more time would be good for them.
Not an emergency.
All right. So next is the public comment. So here, turn it over to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, do we have people here for public comment? I see one person raising their hand, 2 people.
There are a number of people here.
Okay. So I'm gonna look to the participants on the side here. Raise your hand. I'll call on the ones I see there, and then I know people on the screen might be doing it that way. So I'm gonna get to you. I'll tell you in the order. We'll go with Guy first because I see your hand up. I think it's Guy O'Neill, or am I saying that right? O'Connell?
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell. That's close. I was gonna get there.
Yeah.
Mr. President, just a point of order.
Yep.
It looks like we probably got more than the 7, and so I think we generally cap it at a minute per our prior understanding. But I'll defer to you. But I think that's typically what we do.
So
But we'll suspend.
Yep. So the rule is 10, and it's a minute and a half for 10. Just for everyone who's online, might be their first time. It's a minute and a half. At the minute marker, I'll just politely just let you know a minute has passed, and you'll have 30 seconds from there. There is more than 10, I think, from what Councilor Farley said, so make a motion to suspend the rules so everyone can speak to go past the 10 people. Is that what?
Second that.
All right.
On the motion, Mr. President.
What?
But up to
On
a
that
minute,
motion,
though.
okay, discussion?
Yep, sure.
No, I have no problem going beyond the 10 people, but the public comment is still supposed to be about items that we're discussing tonight, correct?
Correct, that are on the agenda for tonight.
Thank you.
Just for
Mr.
make sure-
President,
Yeah, Councilor Bacon.
point of order, it's been clarified to me that that was not a requirement.
It kind
In
of
the
has
past.
been the rule that it's supposed to be items that are on the agenda for tonight. There has been some times where it kind of goes off that prior and this council prior, Councilor Jordan and them. So we try and keep it in order in the sense of if it's on the agenda, we're going to discuss it. It's a minute and a half. We're allowing more than 10 people. I will ask this because we won't find out the addresses until they come up. If there's someone from out of town, not from Hoyoke, are we also suspending the rules to allow them to speak as well?
Almost.
All right, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.
So with that, we'll go to Guy O'Donnell. Please state your name, address, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Hi. Yes. Guy O'Donnell. My address is 367 Alvermont Highway. I'm here to talk about agenda number 20, I think 18 and 22, maybe something else that are related about fines for people handing things out to panhandlers. The thing I want to talk about really is a study, the ACE study. I don't know if people are familiar with this, but it's basically a study that was done on adverse childhood experiences. I recommend anyone check it out. Dr. Nadine Brooks Harris does a great TED talk on the ACEs. It basically is a study of over 17,000 people looking at trauma from their childhood, different things that have affected them, specifically looking at things like abuse, neglect, violence within the household. And they found in the study that these ACEs are strongly correlate with things like health outcomes, addiction, suicide, mental health, things like that. And ACEs are fairly common. Like myself, I have like 3 to 4 ACEs. My kids, who I just adopted 2 weeks ago through DCF, have more like 7 to 8. Thank you. And when I say strongly correlated, I'm talking about if you have 4 or more ACEs, you're looking at 460% more likely to have depression, 700% more likely to have alcohol problems, 1,000% more likely to use IV drugs, and 1,200% more likely to attempt suicide. And to compare that to other things that you may be more familiar with, a comparison to smoking cigarettes and the risk of lung cancer is 1,500 to 3,000% correlation. So these are
one
really
minute, just to let you know. 1 minute.
Okay, thanks. So these are really strong correlations. So I would urge to vote against that. People who panhandle are likely to have a much higher rate of ACEs, and it goes a lot higher than 4. So they need our compassion, and society is not meeting their needs. I don't think that taking away a source of income from this population serves any of the underlying problems. In fact, I think it makes it worse for this population. Thank you.
Mr. President, clarification, please.
Yeah, Councilor.
What number was it? What number was he addressing?
He said 20.
20.
20. Okay, I thought he said 22.
I think he said 22, correct?
I think 18 and 22 are related as well.
18 and 22, Councilor Graney.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Next, I see Jose Maldonado. If you can unmute,
Can you hear me?
name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Jose Maldonado, 210 Pine Street. So lo primero que tengo que decir es que no entiendo la razón porque este cuerpo del gobierno quiere que los residentes vengan aquí solamente para tener gallina en su propiedad. En realidad, la mayoría de los counselors no entienden español, ni siquiera tienen un intérprete para asistir a la gente. Eso sí es forma de racismo. If you didn't understand those 3 sentences, then maybe I urge you to ask one of the fellow counselors that did, and maybe, just maybe, you'll listen. With that said, I appreciate Councilor Murphy trying to translate the city council meetings within 48 hours to post on Channel 15. In my opinion, though, that is too little too late. Channel 15 is not a popular channel, especially in a time of streaming services and apps that can be used for Spanish-only programming. This is just another Band-Aid on an issue and not an actual solution, which is something that I feel like City Council is doing a lot of. Which brings me to my next point. Why are we attempting to criminalize people giving assistance to our neighbors? The unhoused are struggling to get by, and we keep cutting off any lifeline that is given to them. Furthermore, this ordinance you are attempting to pass will create a greater divide in the population. Your role as City Council is to bring all members of this community together. Instead, you are literally trying to send a cop on someone that is simply feeding someone else or giving close to someone else or a couple of dollars. I hope you reconsider bringing this ordinance to the committee and have conversations about real solutions that will unify the people of all classes, of all races, and in turn elevate Holyoke to new levels.
1 minute.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Gracias por su tiempo y tenga una buena noche.
Thank you very much. Next is Eric Frey. Am I saying that right, Eric?
Oh, close enough.
No. If I said it wrong, please let me know.
Frey.
Frey. Okay. With that address, and then we'll on to you.
Hi, I'm Eric Frey from 295 Southampton Road in Holyoke, and I am here tonight to speak with thanks about item number 21, looking for short-term capacity or short-term transitional housing for people facing the opioid crisis, as well as number 18, I believe it was, to reach the city youth and do more connection with the community around those issues. But I also am here to, I guess, give my opinion against items number 20 and 22. I think it is a disservice to our community. I think it separates us as the people of Holyoke who want to reach out to our neighbors. And I think it is abhorrent that we would use city funds, that we would use taxpayer funds to create barriers, engineering projects, and criminalization of people who are looking to support and who need the support of their community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go down the list here. Is there anyone else for public comment that I missed? I'm looking at the side. I don't see hands raised there. I'm looking at the screen. Not seeing any. Anyone want to jump in that if I'm not seeing you, say I'm here.
Just make a motion to take 2 off the table.
Okay, Councilor Lisi, you have a question first?
Thank you. I was under the impression that Jennifer Howard was here to speak on an agenda item that comes up later. And I think this is the point in the meeting where we want to have the public comments from her.
I'll make a motion to take up item number 35 for Jennifer Howard to speak.
Second that.
The motion is to go out of order to item 35. 35 is from Councilor McGee pursuant to 301 CMR 51.071B1. I, Todd McGee, Chairman of the City Council for the City of Holyoke, hereby agree to waive the 120-day notice period as required by said section as of the parcel of land approximately 12.745 acres in the City of Holyoke shown on Exhibit A here to attached, which Department of DCR is considering acquiring as an interest, and it gives the map lot number. So that is the order. Out of order, to take out of order, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? With that, Councilor Lisi has asked for Jennifer Howard to speak on this.
And just to be clear, my intention was just to ask Ms. Howard if she wanted to speak during the public comment period.
Oh, okay.
But there was a second independent motion to take this item up out of order.
All right, so I see what you're saying. So if Ms. Howard wants to speak, we'll say it's at public comment right now, and then we'll go to this order. I misinterpreted what you're asking. So Ms. Howard, it's still public comment till we get there. Did you have anything to say, or I'm missing?
I can speak now. I didn't know if it was now or later when the item comes up, but is there a preference?
How about we just say a public comment? Can we have your address, and then we'll go from there, please?
Yes, so Jennifer Howard, representing the Department of Conservation and Recreation. I live at 203 Hendrick Street in East Hampton.
Okay, and the floor is yours for a minute and a half. And
okay, so I guess in October, earlier this fall, DCR sent the City Council a notification that we were considering the purchase of the Holyoke Boys and Girls Club property, which is on the backside of Mount Tom, as most of you know. This kind of notification is required anytime the department buys land in a town in the Commonwealth. The issue that's on the table tonight is that we were requesting that the City Council vote to shorten this notification period, and to shorten the notification period that would enable us to move forward and buy the Boys and Girls Club property from the Boys and Girls Club without waiting the 120 days from the October date that we sent the notice to the town, to the city. This is a procedural issue. Really what it is, just to give a little background, I think everyone's familiar that in 2002 and 2003, we worked with the trustees of reservations, the Boys and Girls Club, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to protect almost 380 acres on the backside of Mount Tom, the old Mount Tom ski area. And as part of that project, the main purposes of that project were to provide outdoor recreation and public access for the residents of Holyoke and the public, and also to protect
not to be rude, but we're at 1 minute for you. Just a heads up.
So basically, what we're hoping for is, I guess the point is that in that initial project, our right to purchase the Boys and Girls Club in the event that they choose to sell it was kind of baked into that project. And what we're doing now is we are hoping to exercise that right. And in order to do it within the time frame required in the original agreement, we are asking the City Council to waive the notice period.
Okay.
I can answer more questions later when the issue comes up.
Okay.
Thank
With
you.
that, Councilor McGivern, did you have a question before that? You're on mute, Counselor.
No, I was waiting for a motion on item 35, but you corrected it and went back to public comment.
All right,
And we don't debate on public comment, so I'm fine.
Okay, so I see Rob Warner is raising his hand for public comment. Unmute, please, Rob. Oh, thank you. So with that,
Thank you.
Just the name, address for the record, and then you can start.
Rob Warren, representing the trustees, known as the Trustees of Reservations. I live at 34 James Street in Newton, and I just wanted to speak in favor of item 35. We own a reservation, a trustee's property in the vicinity, actually directly abutting the Boys and Girls Club property. And we are strongly in support of seeing the Department of Conservation and Recreation acquire that property. So we joined DCR in asking the council to shorten the notice period. Thank you. Happy to address any questions.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? Just so we are good. I'm not seeing any other hands. So we'll move.
Hold on.
Hold on. I see a hand. Matt?
I'm just wanted to clarify that when the item actually comes up on the agenda, will people still have an opportunity to speak, or is this the only opportunity that people will have to speak?
Well, why don't we do, I can't answer. You have to suspend the rules to allow for comment. So since it's public comment now, I'd suggest starting here first.
Okay. So my name is Matthew Dunnew. I live at 8 Steiger Road in Holyoke, Mass. And I am one of the proponents of a project, and we are one of the owners of property up at Mount Tom. I am here tonight questioning why the requirement of 301 CMR 51, I believe, wasn't satisfied prior. It's my understanding that DCR had ample notice from the Boys and Girls Club with regard to the proposed transactions. This isn't the only transaction that's proposed to Boys and Girls Club. And I question why the city council, why this is getting pushed through the city council, why there's so much pressure on the city council to waive the 120 days and not fully consider this through the committees that are the norm. That's basically my comment for the time being, and I'm more than happy to answer any other questions as time comes up.
All right, thank you. All right, so that will end public comment. So motion, if we're still gonna do this, is to go out of order to item 35.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, so I already read it into the record. This is with regards to DCR and the land.
Make a motion to refer to committee on DGR.
Second.
Motion is to refer to DGNR. It was seconded. Councilor Tallman, I see your hand up. Councilor Sullivan, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I believe we got a letter. I talked to Jennifer Howard today, and I think we got a letter today that passed on by our administrative assistant from Rob Warren from the trustees of the reservations. I think everybody received that today. And I'm just questioning why we can't go through with this. I think we got the letter back in October 30th to waive the 130 days. And for this property up there, you know, which is conservation land and an area of Holyoke that is very pristine and used by several residents as a hiking area, and approved by the DCR and the trustees of the reservation. I have seen no reason why we can't take this up tonight and waive the 120-day notice period.
Mr. President?
Hold on, Councilor Sullivan, then Councilor Graney.
Yeah, thank you. I'd also like to see it go to DGNR. To the best of my knowledge, there's been no public hearing. And I think that that's required, all right? And that the public hearing be advertised. I don't think it's fair. I think the citizens deserve a fair chance to hear what's going on here, right? And I don't believe that that portion of the CMR has been fulfilled. Also, I think they've known about this for a long time, and now, to come with just, after 176 days or so. And I have also got some other questions. I know they have a right to purchase, but I thought also it was a right of first refusal. And if that's the case, I'd like to know what the other offers were. And, I've got quite a few questions. I've heard from quite a few constituents also that have questions about it. So I'd like to see it go to DGNR.
Councilor Graney.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm questioning the 120 days too. Could there be a legal precedent for that? What's the legalese around the 120-day waive? And I would also like to see it go to DGNR, because every project we've seen before has appropriately gone to DGNR like this that I can recall. So I firmly support it going to DGNR for discussion. Thank you.
Councilor McGivern.
Thank you. The reason I made the motion, Mr. President, is I have a lot of questions. I have questions for the Boys and Girls Club. And with all due respect to Jennifer Howard and DCR, I understand the agreement in the beginning. But if there's a proposal on the table and there's another discussion going on with the Holyoke Boys and Girls Club, I don't think the city council should be rushed into taking this vote tonight without hearing from all sides of the issues. The Boys and Girls Club have something at stake here. The owners of the budding property have something at stake. DCR has something at stake. National Heritage has something at stake. And I have more questions than we have answers. We can sit here and ask the questions all night, but I think it'd be a little bit more appropriate if we put it in committee, got the answers to our questions, and take a vote in a couple of weeks.
Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. Just wondering if the ability to waive this 120-day notice period has a time limit. So is there a time limit before we can or can no longer waive that 120-day notice?
I have not been told of any deadline or anything as of yet. When this came in, when this came in as an email, I sent it over to Crystal and legal, and they informed us that we had to file an order, which I have done, to take it up. So, I mean, it can go to committee to then be discussed and get those answers.
Oh, a point of information, Mr. President.
Yep.
Just a question. You said you received an email that went to the law department?
No, I sent it to the law department.
But who received the email?
There was an email about a notice of, I think it was from Yanni, if I'm saying that right, regarding a 120-day request. I didn't know what it was, so I sent it over to legal, and legal informed us that we had to file it this
I've been hearing that we received something in October, and I don't find it on any of our agendas until tonight.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. There was an email, but there was nothing sent as an order or an agenda.
This is the first time we're officially receiving anything on this matter.
That's my point, Counselor. That's my point.
Sorry, I just want to make sure. Thank you. Sorry.
Mr. President, it's Linda.
Counselor Bacon, because you're not able to be on the screen tonight. So Counselor Bacon.
Thank you. I just want to speak in favor of this going to committee so it can be reviewed more thoroughly. Thank you.
Counselor Leahy.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. One of my first questions is, when did the city be put on notice? If they had 180 days, and we kept hearing about this October letter. I haven't received it. I don't believe that I have. I'll have to go through my notes. And why are they asking? I still haven't heard any reason why they're asking for us to waive the review period. Quite frankly, as a counselor, I think that might put us on some liability of malpractice. The fact that we're not sitting there looking at all the notes and listening to both sides. I always bring this up, but there's litigation. We will get sued. I also have a lot more questions. And one of the things is, I've been hearing there's already been a public hearing in the Conservation Commission, but I went through my notes today and I went back and I haven't seen anything on any of the agendas for the Conservation Commission. So that's another question that I have. I have plenty more. So I'll go along with sending this to committee. In fact, it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
All right. So seeing no more hands, the motion was to refer to DGNR. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
I say the ayes have it.
Just one no?
All I heard is one no.
Okay.
I know it's Zoom, and my hearing's a lot better in chamber, but I'm doing the best I can. With that, we're on to communications, which would be item 2. Minutes of the November 4th and 17th meeting. Do we have a chance to review these, or Jennifer? Unfortunately, we can't. We can't. We've already did public comment.
Is there a way
can't
for me to
suspend
provide
it.
answers to any of the questions?
No,
by
that's why it's going to
writing?
go to committee. It
The
has to go to
committee.
the committee for that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President,
Yeah, Councilor Bartley.
could I just make a point of order, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just a general comment for those that don't follow city council, and particularly to a few of our guests. So this order is referred to the committee that I chair. It's called Development and Governmental Relations. We are a very busy committee, but we will make time to take up this order in a very timely fashion. And at that time, as per our custom in city council, and Mr. President can vouch for this, even when it's not a public hearing, it is our custom to suspend rules and to allow the public to address us on matters. So at that time, I'm sure we will consider suspending the rules and allowing advocates, proponents, and et cetera to address us on the matter, and we'll proceed accordingly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Bartley, do you have a meeting coming up for a date potentially, or no, or not yet?
No, we have two meetings. We have a meeting on December 7th and December 14th, Mr. President, and I got to say they're both unfortunately pretty full. But I'm meeting with the administrative assistant tomorrow morning at 10, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. So we have all the people here. We can, Jeffrey, just make sure we have everyone listed there. You have it down for their emails. We can get out the Zoom invite once Councilor Bartley sets up that meeting. With that, we are on to, once again, item 2, which is minutes from November 4th and 17th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion is to receive and approve.
Just respectfully, I haven't looked at it, Mr. President. Could we just wait till the next meeting? Could just table this for now?
Table these for now? Sure.
Would you mind? It's my fault because she sent them timely. I just haven't had a chance.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so motion is to table to allow councilors a little more time. That's understandable.
And it's my fault. The clerk sent them out in a timely fashion. I just want to make a note of that.
All right, so all those in favor?
Thank you.
All those opposed, that's tabled for next meeting. On that though, if there are things that you want changed, always just email the clerk, and then that way we have it ready for the next meeting.
Yes.
It makes it go a little quicker. Just an
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. All right, 3 is from Crystal Barnes, the city solicitor, communication regarding the overtime pay for City Hall closure. Everyone did receive this, I do believe.
Yes, we did.
All right, so what would you like?
If I could.
Sorry, so Councilor Leahy. Sorry.
Now, would that be considered under that ball of money that we got for the COVID-19? Would that come out of that?
I don't know, Councilor. We have to follow up on that.
All right, we'll find out in committee. Thank you.
All right, so do you want to send
refer to finance?
All right, so send this to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 4 is from Tanya, the city auditor, general fund and sewer budget report.
Receive and send to finance.
Receive and send to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Mr. President.
All right, so this is where Councilor Bartley has to stop me.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend our rules to take 5, 32, 33, and late file B as a package.
Second.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, can you say that again? 5,
32, 33, and late file B.
33 and B. Okay, thank you, sir.
And then just ship off 5, 33, and B to DGR, and
Second.
ship 32 to public service, please.
Second
That's public safety in your in 32.
Public
though.
safety, I'm sorry, my bad. My public safety is
Okay.
my fault.
So 32.
Thank you, Jim.
As they're stuck together, making it more fun. All right, so 5 is from Counselor Bartley. Well, actually, suspend the rules, take up 5, 32, and 33 as a package. All those in
Second.
favor?
And late file B.
And late file B, yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 is an article regarding the problem property group from Counselor Bartley. B, late file B is regarding the receivership program update. 32 is from Counselor Bartley, order that the problem property group, FKA problem property group. Building Commissioner, Mayor's Office, come before the City Council, Public Safety Committee to provide an update to the City Council regarding the top 20 list of problem buildings in an effort to see remove these buildings from the list and update the balance of the funds the city is vacating property building. And that's going to go to public service.
Yeah, and just send a copy of that to OPED, please.
That
was public safety, though.
Safety.
Public safety is my fault. It's public safety. Thank you. Jimmy
I'll
corrected
update
me.
that. And 33 is from Councilor Bartley, order that the law department provide an update to the City Council on the city's receivership program. Copy to DGNR, copy of law. So
That's it.
the first one was DGNR. That's 5, you said, Counselor?
Yeah, 5, what did I say? 5, late file B, and 33 to DGR, and 32 to public safety, please.
All right, so on those, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
And take 6, motion to take 6 up table, refer it to Committee on Ordinance, please.
Second.
All right, so those are done. 6 is a speed bump petition for Michigan Ave. That would go to ordinance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 7 is a petition for a renewal of home occupancy for a plant-based non-dairy business at 267 Southampton Road.
Receive and grant the renewal pending all municipal fees and taxes have been paid.
Second.
Second.
Looking at the list, all taxes are current. So a motion is to receive and grant the renewal,
And forward any conditions that are on that special permit.
including all conditions that were there prior. Kids are waving. We don't need a roll call for this. I always forget this one for some reason every time we do it. Do we need a roll call for this one? Because it's granting a special permit or renewal. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting for the renewal. So we're gonna do a roll call.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Graney. Graney,
Yeah.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Yes. Leahy,
Yes.
LeBron Martinez. Yes. Lisi,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Tallman,
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
With your vote, you approve the renewal. 8 is a petition for a new secondhand license at
Finance.
50 Hoyok Street.
Also
So send that to finance.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, President's report, I'll go quickly. 1, I represented the council on November 25th for the Harper Haven Park up at Community Field. It opened up, they had a limited number of invites because of the pandemic. If you got a chance, please go up there, take a look at this beautiful park and to see what the family did in remembrance of Harper. Just an outstanding park. And I want to thank Park and Rec, DPW, and everyone that was involved in that. It's just it's a phenomenal park. So if you go up to Community Field, it's right there by the other parks. So it's a nice addition to that area. And really, as I said when I was up there to the people, it really, when we were designing Community Field and taking in all aspects, whether it's seniors, teenagers, whatever, this was one thing that never came up in the discussions for all the meetings that we had. So it really did add to make it truly a community feel. It's just a beautiful addition.
Mr.
Jeffrey,
President, question?
Yep, Councilor Graney.
Just a quick question, Mr. President. Is the ice skating rink going to be in operation this year at Community Field?
From what I know, it should be. There's no issues with the icing of it. It's just you need a certain temperature to allow it to be used. So that's what it usually comes down to. But I have no reports. I have no reports saying that there's something broken or that it will not be usable.
Well, so the Freon plant and everything is working?
From what I know, has been no report otherwise.
Okay,
Ask
thank
a
you.
question about COVID and what the status is with the virus and the use of the ice skating rink.
Well, that would be up to Park and Rec to determine usage and all that. But as far as whether or not it's not working or if there's something wrong with the mechanics of it, there's been no reports back to us on that.
Okay.
Another issue, working with Jeffrey, our new city admin, we're working to get a Google Calendar set up. It was something that Councilor Lisi really wanted to get up to make tracking for meetings and everything else more streamlined for us and a lot easier. So one thing that was suggested by legal is to get a city email for everybody to make this calendar work, as well as for things to go through. I know, as an example, sometimes when I respond to the police department, all my emails get sent back because they have firewalls and everything else. Don't ask me what that means. I'm just telling you what they told me. I'm not the computer whiz here. But I know if we use city emails that can be set up and we do a Google Calendar, it basically will just pop up and tell you when meetings are so we can track it better. And since we can't go into City Hall and we had the board up to use, this might be something to use until we all get back into City Hall. So we're waiting. One thing that we're waiting on is a cost to that. I guess all emails have been used up or some issue. So Mike Bloomberg is working with IT to get back to me on a cost for that. Also, working with Councilor Bartley, we're looking to buy a scanner in order to set up a share drive and scan things in. And that way it allowed Jeffrey to send everything out to everybody instead of trying to mail it. Also keep it in a stored area in case that we're looking for it, we'll have better access to it. So he is already putting the request in for that scanner to then set up that share drive. I'll turn it over to Councilor Bartley in a minute because he was one of the ones that also had comments on that. On December 8th at 6 p.m., the Holyoke Democratic Committee is looking to have a reception party, Zoom party for Representative Vega because he is leaving, going on, as we know, to his new job. So we thank him for all his service up at the State House. And if you have a chance to join that, that's December 8th, 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:30. Sean from the Board of Health did follow up on an email today with regards to our letter being sent out to the state in order to have other communities set up testing sites to help alleviate the traffic and stuff that's going on here in Holyoke. They did not grant our request for other sites in other areas, but they did give us more staffing at the two testing locations to hopefully push things a little easier and get people in and out and not have the long lines and then be turned away after 3 hours. So I thank Sean and Councilor Lisi for working on that. Let's see here. Councilor Lisi, yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to publicly note for everybody, since the City Council signed on to that letter unanimously, that there was a bit of a misunderstanding to the extent that the city was using its CARES Act funds to pay for the testing sites. We do use CARES Act funds to pay for things related to the sites, but the bulk of the funding is coming from the state. And so I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the the misreading that I had there, and the state acknowledged that there was a mistake and that we do need the help, and that to that effect we're getting the doubling of the staff at the sites. However, no additional sites at this point.
Yep. No, and I did get an email from Mike Bloomberg saying that there was a mistake and we shouldn't be writing these letters, and I disagree. I didn't read it the same way they did. I read it the same way you just referenced it, Councilor Lisi. We were asking for assistance with these test sites, and some people were coming from very far away just to get to Holyoke to get a test, knowing that Northampton has requested a test site to help, not only help us, but help people traveling. So the letter was very well written. It was, I think it was on point. And because we did that, we weren't trying to be rude to the state. That was one of the comments. We weren't trying to be rude to the state. We're asking for help. That's not being rude. That's telling them a problem that they might not know about. And due to our efforts, we got more people to work at these testing sites to help alleviate some of the problem. So I do appreciate what did transpire. I know sometimes people can misread things, so that's where we'll leave that. There was an email to me regarding a letter in the paper regarding some counselors and their votes on certain issues, and kind of pointing out that it might be racist. I'll be very, very clear. I will always stand up for my full city council. Not one member on this council is doing anything to be racist or anything negative in any fashion. This council is very good. They work very hard and they work well together. Do they have disagreements? Heck yeah, everyone does. But then at the end of the day, you know what we all do? We go home and we start up again and start on other issues. So to the counselors, I disagree with that letter, the assessment. I know the issues here do get hot at times. That's understandable. That's government. So I thank you for all of you for what you do here. And I'll always stand up for my fellow council members as well as for the public as a whole. What we saw in the tonight's public comment, prior public comments, we saw a lot of people coming together, giving us information on a very well-respected fashion. And we debated the issue and then we moved on. So I appreciate the public for their tone and for everyone who does their job here, as well as at City Hall. So I'll leave it at that in the sense of none of that type of behavior is allowed. We know that as counselors, and no one actually will ever do that on this council. Finally, we all did receive a letter almost this afternoon, late morning, from Mayor Morris. He is not seeking re-election. If you haven't seen that, that was a letter that came across. I'd just like to thank the mayor for his service, 10 years of service to the city. That's an amazing feat and something never to be overlooked. In his letter, he kind of said the same thing I have been saying as the president, as well as what I just said with regards to the last issue. We may disagree, but at the end of the day, we always try and find a way to make sure we do a good vote for the full city and move it forward. And that's how we should be. So I thank the mayor for his service. I wish him all the luck on his future endeavors. We're not sure what that is. That was not in the letter. I mean, I read it several times, but yeah, good luck to him. Thank you for your service and everything you do. We wish you all the best. With that, I will turn it over to
Councilor McGee.
Councilor Leahy.
Just one last question. Do you know when the tree lighting is and if we're having one, or is it virtual, or is it?
I have not received anything from Park and Rec on that, but I can follow up. Has anyone heard anything? No?
Maybe we could just have Jeffrey give a call over tomorrow.
All right. So Jeffrey, if you have a chance, call over to Park and Rec, and I'll email Terry Shepard, who once again did a phenomenal job with that Harper Haven Park. So we'll get that answer out to everybody.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Did we miss anything?
Mr. President, I actually have.
Counselor Crystal, how are you?
But I have the quote actually from Wally for your email addresses.
Okay.
So they quoted out for 13. It's $72 a piece, which puts the total at $936. We just got that in a couple days ago.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So we'll follow up with Jeffrey on that and to get that done. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Miss anything? No? Okay, so we'll move on. I try to be super quick. So reports of committees. 9A, the Committee on Ordinance who's referred in order at special permit application for 40 Lyman Street, awaiting disposition.
Receive and adopt the committee report.
Motion is to receive, adopt, under discussion. Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. So this was a special permit application for a marijuana retail establishment that Abbey Property Management put before us for 40 Lyman Street. This came out of committee with a positive recommendation previously, but then was sent back to committee because it seemed that there may have been multiple copies or iterations or drafts of the same application in different venues, and we wanted to just make sure that we were all on the same page with what was being submitted. And at the end of the day, what we have is a application that was received by the city clerk on October, I believe it's the 25th, and that is the version of the application that we're moving forward on. The planning department, the planning department's review of the application noted that there's still some significant gaps in the application. And the applicant's response to the fact that there are those gaps there is that there's a lot of things that are pending on the actual purchase of the building. So I think at the end of the day, the city council ordinance committee wanted to see the project move forward, and so we granted in some ways some leniency with the completeness, in regards to the completeness of the application, but it was made clear and was understood by the applicants that any amendment to the project that was proposed in the application that was before us in that October 25th document, any amendments are going to require a trigger of a full review of the special permit process in order to amend the special permit. So it may be costly and time consuming down the road for them to make those amendments, but they are prepared and aware that may be the case. If any other committee members would like to add to that, I welcome their comment.
Anyone else?
Mr. President?
Councilor Aiken, sorry.
I think the conditions should be noted with the dates.
Yep. So, having considered the same and recommend that the special permit be approved with the following conditions: that the owner of the building always pay commercial property taxes to the extent allowed by federal, state, local law for the duration of the permit; that the business retain a minimum of 30% of Holyoke residents for non-security jobs; that hiring preference be given to security personnel that are retired Holyoke police officers or are retired members of another police department now living in the city of Holyoke. There shall be no marijuana consumption to be allowed on site. There shall be no deliveries of retail or medical marijuana from the site to individual homes, residents, or people. That hours of operations be in compliance with city ordinances. That the applicant be in compliance with all recommendations and letters from OPED and the city engineer.
So, Mr. President,
yep,
there was an amendment made to the last condition referencing the letter from planning that had been put out on November 19th. There had been quite a wait on the part of the applicant for the response, but that's the most recent response. So it's updating that original recommendation from the committee.
So how should it read, Counselor? So I can just put it in? It's because it's
I believe the date on the letter was November 19th from planning. And then we also referenced the engineer's recommendations that the applicant would comply with those.
Okay, just putting that in.
Thank you.
All right, Counselor Bartley.
Thank you. One, I do want to speak in favor of this, but more importantly, just for right now, Mr. President, to the president, to the administrative assistant, who I think is doing a great job. One, it'd be helpful just going forward if we could have the conditions
in the agenda
posted on the agenda. So that would be. I'm particularly fond of the first three, since I came up with the first three when I was on the ordinance committee, and it's always nice to see my handiwork in writing. And then I did want to point out that we did have a letter of 1119 relative to that letter, Mr. President. Again, this is through the chair to the administrative assistant. It often happens where only certain committees get certain letters and from the planning board. And I don't think it should work that way. I think all city council members should get all correspondence, whether or not they sit on the committee. So I'm going to ask our administrative assistant to sort of work with the the various department heads just to remind them, or if they're not comfortable doing that, they could just send them all to our administrative assistant and he can disperse accordingly. Because all these should be public record. And I know I like to send them out to the public in my newsletter, and not all of them because it gets overwhelming, but the pertinent ones I like to mail out because they are public record. But it's so hard, Mr. President, when we're city councilors and we're not even getting the opinion. So whether or not it's a DGR, a building commissioner type of a letter, or if it's a ordinance letter from the planning board, I just think we have to do a better job of disseminating, and so there's that. The last point, Mr. President, is the no deliveries part. I am so grateful. It wasn't me, but I forgot which member of the ordinance committee came up with that. I'm so grateful that we still have that. I think if we were all watching what happened in the legislature this week, that they passed the cannabis, not them, the Cannabis Control Commission passed 3-1 to allow deliveries. And really what all that's going to do is help is hurt the small business person and help the mega marijuana corporations. And I get the fact that it's a free market. I get that, but in a very nascent kind of preliminary industry, to not allow deliveries, I think is a good thing, and it forces consumers of that product to go into the retail shops. And I think that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be helping small businesses. I think that's what the mayor's vision was when as far as I could tell. So it's to support small businesses, especially in the downtown. And from what I understand is that there's going to probably be lawsuits against the Cannabis Control Commission, and I'm glad to hear that. So hopefully they'll reconsider that action and support small businesses. So that's it. Thank you.
So with that,
Mr. President, I just want to correct the date that I gave. It's not October 25th. It's October 15th, where the application was resubmitted. So just for the public record here.
Okay. All right. So this was to receive, unless there's any further discussion. Am I missing anyone? Not seeing any hands. Motion was to receive and adopt based on the conditions that were read into the record. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, hold on, Councilor Sullivan.
I'm just getting in line before the next order comes up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting for 9A, which is to grant the special permit.
I'm going to say yes. I haven't heard my name, but yes.
Anderson Burgos. Bartley.
Yes.
Graney.
No.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Leahy. Leahy.
He's frozen, I think.
I know
Muted.
he is.
He's muted.
And I think he's frozen. LeBron Martinez.
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
McGee.
Yes.
McGivern.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Tallman.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
11 yeas.
With your vote, you approved 9A. I do believe B to G, correct me if I'm wrong, do not have legal opinions as of yet because of the holiday break.
Not
So
legal
those-
opinions, legal forms.
Legal form, that. I was getting there. A tough night. Legal form, so therefore to lay them on the table until those are able to come in.
Motion table.
So
Second.
B to G, they're handicap signs. B is 199 Beach Street. C is 420B Dwight Street. D is 116 Pearl Street. E is 7 Vernon Street. F is 77 Pine Street. And G is 254 Walnut Street. Motion is to take them up as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion
Mr.
is
President?
to. Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, Councilor Murphy?
Yeah,
Mr.
is
President?
there any
Councilor
way
Murphy.
that I mean, again, I know, and I appreciate all the work that Crystal does and the law department does, and I know with Thanksgiving and everything else, but obviously these are people that are, need to have the ability to have better parking. If we don't do this, and I don't even know if we can and suspend the rules and end up getting the legal review later or whatever, but we know what's going to happen. We know basically all of these things are going to pass. And if there's any way that we could pass these tonight so that potentially they could be up before the holidays, so that these people, we get into winter parking and everything else, they're all struggling to find. I know I have one or two constituents here that are in the same boat. So I don't know if that's possible. I know, you know, it's not something that's going to be a dramatic legal form that we need to review. But if that's not possible, okay. But if there's any way we can do it, I would really encourage us to do it. These people, you know, need to have these parking so that they're able to access their residence as easy as possible. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Councilor Graney, go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly to reiterate what Councilor Murphy said. 9C, I filed at least 6 months ago. I mean, there's a 6-month wait for some of these handicap signs. We should be able to move quicker than this. Our residents depend on it, especially our handicap residents. And there are many people out there who desperately need these signs to aid them and assist them in, you know, with their problems. So there needs to be a better way or a faster way that we could move these forward. So I would appreciate anything that we could do tonight to move these forward. Thank you.
Crystal, you have your hand up?
I do. I spoke with the assistant as well as the engineer. There are just some procedural kinks we are working out. So we don't have measurements from the engineer yet. He hasn't been out to these sites to take a look at them. I also believe from our assistant that 1 or 2 of these is still missing information for Disability Commission, I believe. And I don't have the details on those specifics. So we are missing some information on some of these. So it's kind of a group effort that those aren't done tonight, but.
No, I'll be clear. Crystal and them do a very good job to get these out as fast as possible. So does the commission, who volunteers to help us out and get this stuff done. And they have to do measurements and everything else. And that's what we have to vote on is that final, you know, measurements and everything else. So to me, I can put it this way. We're still waiting for information from the mayor's office for the budget so we can set the tax rate. Most likely we'll have to, you know, call a meeting, or maybe we can do it all on the 15th, but we'll get these right back on there to get them done. Councilor McGivern.
No, if we're not voting on these tonight, I'm all set. The reason, you know, it's one thing not to have the measurements from the engineer, and that's what the legal form is about, but not to have the information from the disability committee is more important. We've had a number of people in the past apply for these parking spaces where they use them to pull up, unload their cars, and then they have a parking space behind the building. And then the handicap space should sit there, you know, during time to leave, you know, and not used. So one of the things the Disability Commission does is make sure that the individual, if there is a parking place, handicap parking place put up, is going to use it, you know, 7 days a week.
Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that in the ordinance committee, we had indicated, or we had believed that we had received all the approvals from the Disability Commission, which is why we acted on them. So
yes,
you know, I'm almost positive that's what we did in the ordinance committee. So we were had been told that we had, in fact, had the approvals. So and we were not trying to skip the Disability Commission in terms of the process.
Right. No, it might be an oversight here. Councilor Leahy. Councilor Hernandez. I'm sorry. I'm looking at hands. I'm looking at the screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Yes, I just want to add on that I know that talking about Councilor McGivern's comment about that, yes, that some people have requested this in the past and that the Disability Commission's input is very important in their feedback on the form. However, my 2 constituents and they're listed here. They've been waiting, and they both would be utilizing these 7 days a week. So they're in really need of the parking spaces. So whatever can be done, like to try to accelerate the process, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. So I think, you know, it was the first time that we were working with our new administrative assistant on these handicap placards, and I think there was just you know, a little bit of, you know, miscommunication in terms of what we need to see as the committee from the Commission on Disabilities. And so the 199 Beach Street application was incomplete, and so I think that our administrative assistant, Mr. Anderson Burgos, is going to be reaching out to the maker of that order to see if they could work with the constituent on building a complete application there. So it seems that 9B will need to go back to committee, but the others can be tabled and await the legal form.
So B has to go back to committee?
I believe it does, because it was an incomplete application. From what I understand, there was a note that said missing application on front. And there was needed information for the 199 Beach Street application.
Councilor Hernandez.
I know I did help. I thought that it was complete, but I did help the constituent from 199 B Street fill it out. But I didn't, I thought that it was in completion, but if not, I would be more than happy to get that completed.
Yeah, so how about we just table these if you really want to send B back. And like I said, if there's a call for a special meeting because of the budget, and we're still waiting on that stuff, I'll throw these on there right away. If not, the 15th is coming up, and I'll call DPW in order to say how fast can we get them up once approved, assuming that everything's approved on the 15th. So Councilor LeBron Martinez, I see your hand up.
Yeah, not for the audience that may be listening, I just want to share that, you know, I received actually a handicap packet to my address, to my house, from someone, I don't know for what reason, but I'm just trying to let the public know that they should we have to figure out where they're supposed to send it, which I know is the city, but they're sending it, you know, to my address, and I don't want to have that be a delay, because I just realized I should have filed one for this particular person, but I didn't, and I have to probably bring it down to the office.
Okay.
Because it was sent to my address, so just for the public, they should be sending it to the city hall.
Correct. Councilor Anderson Burgos.
I just want to clarify, make sure I heard correctly. Are we sending them all back to committee?
No.
Okay. All right. I thought I heard all of them. I was
just yours. Just yours.
You got me.
Sorry. So 9B to send back to ordinance. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The rest, which would be C, D, E, F, and G, to table in order to get the measurements, put them in legal form, and we'll get them done as soon as possible.
Motion to table.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
HIJKLM have not left committee.
Hold on. Councilor Sullivan had his hand raised, so Councilor Sullivan.
Well, yeah, just like I haven't raised since the end of 9A. At the end of that, we were supposed to take this up. All right. I'd like to make a motion that we take 23 and 24 out of order. We've got 3 people been sitting here patiently all night, and I think we're going to have to sit here for another hour the way things are going, just to see their orders sent to committee.
Second. All right, so motion to suspend the rules, go out of order to 23 and 24. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 23 is from Councilor Sullivan, Councilor McGee, that the Honorable City Council approve a grant in the amount of $175,000 to the Castro Land Trust. Said grant is for open space, and that will be used funds for 14 acres of land abutting Scotts Tower. This will be key component to leveraging the $435,400 Phase 1 project. Voted by CPAC 7 yeas, 0 nays, 2 abstain. Sent to DGNR. 24 is the Honorable Council hereby approve a grant in the amount of $250,000 from Wayfinder. Said grant is for housing and will be matched by the CDBG in order to access $16.4 million state grants. Voted by CPAC 5 yeas, 1 no, 1 abstain, 2 absent. Sent to DGNR. Councilor Sullivan.
Yep, thanks. These are two great projects that are coming out of CPA. I think just because of the size of them and having talked with a few members that we need to send these to DGNR. I've talked to the chair. I don't want to speak for them at this point, but they'll if you can help us this, Dave, I believe they'll be on the agenda for December 7th. We'll move quick on them. The Scotts Tower one is time sensitive, but I've received a email that landowner has agreed to an extension to accommodate the city's schedule. So we're in good shape with these and can go through the normal process. And they'll be back. They should be back in front of us on the 15th.
Okay, Councilor McGivern.
Knowing that the schedule is filled up quickly, we're hoping to have a finance committee. The only open date between now and the 15th is the 10th, which is a Thursday night. And we have handled these projects in finance, Mike, I think.
Okay.
I'm not fighting for them.
If the committee wants to agree that they can do it in DGNR in order to get it out in timely fashion, there's no argument by councilors. You can do that. But if you want it in finance for the 10th,
we're going to take it up.
Okay. So everyone's comfortable with DGNR?
Mm-hmm.
I'll second it. I don't think there's a second on it going there yet.
All right. So, Councilor McGivern, did you have a question on that still or no? Or
we're still meeting on the 10th.
Okay.
Because every other night has been taken up by two by DGR, one by ordinance, and one by public safety.
They don't want to do it, Joe. Believe me.
David, I sympathize with you. Believe me. I don't want to do Thursday night, but we got some time sensitive things ourselves. But we'll get through it.
There's always Saturday, Joe.
I've done that once before, Mr. President. And
we did Christmas Eve.
We did Christmas Eve one year.
For Christmas Eve.
I remember that one.
So 23 and 24 to DGNR. Councilor Bartley said he'll take them up on December 7th.
Well, one of them. Take one on the 14th.
And one on the 4th. Okay. All right. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Back to Councilor Lisi. You were going to do a package.
Right. The remaining items in ordinance H through M, they never left committee, so they should not be on the agenda.
Keep on the table.
Make a motion to keep them send them back to committee.
Well, they're in committee. It's just for the agenda they were put on their waiting disposition. They never came out, so it's as if they don't exist on here.
Oh, okay.
So they remain in committee.
Okay, so make a motion to take up item 10A off the table.
All right, so going on to 10, motion to 10, or actually going on to 10A, Finance Committee reports. The Committee on Finance referred a secondhand license for 241 Main Street, recommended that be adopted. Councilor McGivern.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had Mr. Diego in front of the Finance Committee last week before. This would be a renewal, except it's actually a change of address. The address 241 Main Street is new. Therefore, we had a full public hearing on the full meeting to look at someone who's been operating a secondhand business for some time. It was good to know that he does comply with the laws to provide a log, both taking of pictures of people who bring in secondhand stuff and keeping names of stuff that he purchases in case the law enforcement agencies come in looking for information about stolen items. The committee recommends that we grant the new secondhand license at 241 Main Street.
Any further comment? Mike, sorry, Councilor Sullivan, your hand's still up, or is that from, okay. Seeing no one else, motion is to receive and adopt that they approve the secondhand license. Clerk will call a roll. If you vote yes, you're voting for the granting of the secondhand license.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Rainey,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
LeBron Martinez,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Tolman,
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
With your vote, you approve 10A. Councilor McGivern, you want to take B
Take a
and
motion
C?
to take 10B and 10C as a package, please.
I won't argue with you. Motion to suspend the rules, take up B and C as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? B, that the Committee on Finance, in accordance to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accept the fiscal year 2021 State 911 Department Support Grant. And 10C, that the City Council accept the fiscal year 2021 State 911 Department Training Grant. Motion would be to receive, adopt, pass the first reading. Our discussion, Councilor McGivern.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, we had Sergeant Hart in from the police department to with a tremendous amount of information and of course to answer all of our questions. These are annual grants, so I'll just go through them real quick. Neither one of them has a match. They come from the state. They are state E911 grants. The first one, which is 10B, is for $246,443. It's broken down into two parts. The first part is equipment. There'll be 4 new computers for dispatch being purchased at a cost of $1,421. The second part is for salaries of both the part-time, and we do have one, I'm sorry, for the full-time, 12 dispatchers, and for the one part-time dispatcher that we have. The salaries will offset the line item within the budget itself. The training grant is similar, but a little bit different. It's for the amount of $10,561.72, broken into two parts. The first part is for conference fees for $3,887. The second part is personal costs, $6,674.72. These are mandatory training certification 18 hours per dispatcher. They have to do it once a year. The state is willing to pay for it. The committee recommends that we accept both grants and thank Sergeant Hart for administrating them for us.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. Motion is passed the first reading.
Second.
Aye.
There was a motion to pass first reading. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading.
Motion is passed the second reading. Clerk will call the roll. Councilor Bartley, you have a question? Sorry.
Yeah, I do. Just to the through the chair, the finance chair. Joe, when I was thinking about this, this is about $250,000 in personnel funds. Joe, if I'm
correct. I mean,
okay.
One part of it is for equipment, but the rest of it is salary.
Yeah, about $1,500 for equipment, and I think another part's for equipment too. So, and if I recall, this runs through the end of this fiscal year 21.
That's correct.
Okay, so what does the police department do with the funds that we budgeted for dispatchers? Do we know that answer, Joe?
We did ask that question of Sergeant Hart because it's different every year. This year, this grant came in late before when the mayor was putting the budget and the chief of police was putting the budget in front of us. So they knew they were getting a grant, but they didn't know how much they were getting a grant for. So in this case, whatever it offsets in that line item, that's why I said it that way. whatever it offsets becomes surplus. If the chief and the mayor want to transfer it out, they have to come to us and ask permission to transfer it. If they, if we agree, they can transfer it somewhere else, or it remains as a surplus and becomes part of free cash at the end of the year.
What a perfect explanation.
Great job, Joe.
Good question.
Well, no, Joe, I know we talked about, may I, Mr. Chair, President?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Counselor.
Yeah, just through the chair to Joe, the finance chair. Yeah, I know we talked about committee, but when the public sees us tonight and they see 250,000 in personnel costs, they're probably wondering what I was wondering. That's why I'm glad you gave a really concise answer. So thank you.
So, seeing no other hands, motion is
Well,
to pass the second. Oh,
Mr.
Counselor
President.
Murphy? All right,
Yeah,
Counselor
just
Murphy, sorry.
along the same lines of what Councilor Bartley is talking about, and after the meeting last night where we talked about the potential of our tax revenues for this year and the potential of very limited free cash, I think it's certainly important that when we get these grants, that we try to, if they offset other expenses, we try to keep those funds available so that we might be in a situation where we need money somewhere else. And I mean, I'm glad that we go out and get grants, and Sergeant Hart does a great job. And I think it's important that obviously public safety is a priority, but knowing right now what we do know, and it's right now limited, but after what we heard last night, I think it's very important that we be as conservative in terms of how we do and how we spend these funds. And if we get grant to offset some of our taxpayers' money, we may need to use those funds for other things. Thank you.
All right. So motion is to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting for both grants.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
LeBron Martinez,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Tolman,
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
With your vote, you're approved B and C. On to 10D. The Committee on Finance was referred in order that the bonding for the 10 priority intersections and funding for the traffic light installation be reviewed in the Finance Committee. Recommended that be adopted.
President, if I could, we had this discussion in committee, and we reached out to Mike McManus, our DPW superintendent, and we asked for an update on the bonding for all the intersections. I think it was the top 10 intersections that we had agreed to in the priority list. And Mike respectfully responded and said he could not have that available for this meeting, but he's going to do it before the next city council meeting. So the order, in a sense, is not complied with until we hear the final review from our superintendent. So we could lay it on the table, we could adopt it, but we know the information is forthcoming.
Well, why don't we table it so that way we wait for the report and put them together. So motion be to table 10D.
So moved.
All those in
I
favor?
just had my hand up before the motion.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm looking at the screen for hands up, and I sometimes.
That's why I didn't make the motion, Mr. President, so everybody could talk.
All right, Councilor Bartley.
Yeah, I did get a memo from Mike.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the chair did. I mean, I just assume table it right now anyhow, because I don't think everybody's had a chance to review it. So I just want to point that out. And the other thing I want to point out, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, is that I did send an email to Richard Massey, who's I think the assistant engineer at District 2 in Northampton. This screen is just ridiculous. Why it's freaking out. Sorry about that. My screen's acting up. And that's relative to Mass DOT's project to swap out all the lights on High Street and Maple Street that we heard about in DGR, I think circa 2016. And we haven't had anything since. So I'm waiting. And I did speak with the head of the alarm division for the city of Holyoke as well, Mr. O'Connor, and he advised me that project is still on the Mass DOT bid list. but it hasn't been put out to bid yet. So I don't know where this is. It was supposed to be done in 2019 fiscal year, but we're obviously in 21 and nothing's happening. So when we meet next week and in 2 weeks, but we'll get an update. Everybody have the update from Mr. McManus about the local bonding. And there's an order Councilor Lisi and I filed. Gosh sakes, it's got to be 2015. It might be 2014, Mr. President. I'll ask the ordinance chair if she remembers, but relative to Homestead Avenue. And so, I mean, these things just kind of take on a life of their own and just kind of they're in suspended animation. But we will do our best to advise the public on the 15th relative to what's going on in Holyoke. And if I hear from Rich Massey, I'll forward it to the clerk so she can put it on the next agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. So motion, did I hear the motion is to table this?
Yes.
Yep, so
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep, am I missing someone? Oh, no, okay. All right,
Mr.
so,
President,
yes, Councilor McGivern.
if I can make a quick note here on the Finance Committee. There was one other item that I believe we did vote out, and it was your order on making Ryan Allen a special employee.
We did vote that out.
Okay.
And the two issues are, one, it's not on the agenda tonight, which is okay. So we don't have to take it up tonight, but I think, it's not in committee. We technically voted it out with the recommendation is to give it leave to withdraw because the law department said we can't do it. And there's an explanation for that. And then we're reaching out to the emergency committee on seeing, because I think a lot of this, what Ryan did was under the COVID domain, to see if they have some money is available to give him some stipends for his nighttime work. Yep. And also we may want to do something ourselves from our own fund.
So do you want to remove from committee?
Well, at the end of the time, I just don't want to, get in trouble with the open meeting law. I'm sure it's just a minor error, but.
Can it be something that'll be on the 15th and that'd be sufficient, or do you want to act sooner? We have our rules too, and I've stated that in prior open
I'll
meeting
make a
law
motion to
complaints.
remove from committee,
Second.
because it should have been on the agenda.
Second. Motion is to remove from committee, which would appear as 10D, which is an order that we make Ryan Allen or approve Ryan Allen as a special city employee. Move from the committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Make
those
a motion
opposed?
that it be given leave to withdraw with explanation.
Second.
Motion is to give leave to withdraw with the explanations that we're looking for COVID money or other city funds to pay him for his duties that he was doing. That's what you're saying, Councilor McGivern?
Well, yes, and because the law department advised us, when you do a special employee, you do the position, not the individual. And in this case, it became a catch-22 because Ryan is now a full-time employee at the DPW, and what he was doing was under the description of a full-time employee for the city council. So we asked if he could be a consultant, and Councilor Leahy made a good point. The state does per diem when people retire. They come back to train people. That's not the issue. Ryan certainly did that job of helping to train Jeff, or at least get him acclimated to some of the stuff that's part of his responsibilities. But because Ryan's still an employee of the city, the state statute prevents him from getting two salaries. So we talked about this a lot. And it was just, and the two good suggestions that came out of committee were, to reach out to the emergency committee with COVID funds and CARE Acts fund, and or to talk about using some flower fund money to help offset, what he did for us.
Councilor Leahy.
Mr. President?
Yeah, thank you. So
Hold on, Councilor Graney, hold on. Councilor Leahy.
Yeah.
Councilor
Yes,
Leahy.
thank you. Yes, it was a good meeting, and Ryan, as he always has and always will, always go above and beyond and step up. Some of my comments were just concerns. More than happy to pay Ryan out of my pocket, but I just don't think that it's legal. If we're looking at this, taking money out of the flower fund, we have to look at retirement. You have to look at taxes. You have to look at many different things. So, paying a person for the job they did has to be, has to be legit. It has to go through the payroll. So I'm all in favor, because I do believe that a lot of this had to do with the COVID, having the money that he is owed taken out of that, because I'm sure Jeffrey could have done a great job, but I'm sure it's 10 times easier having Ryan help him get his feet wet. Thank you.
Counselor Bartley.
Oh, thank you. Let me just get rid of that thing. Yeah, it was a great discussion. So I just want to if I could, Mr. President, just through the chair to the administrative assistant. It was agenda item, or the clerk. It was agenda, so it can be noted in the minutes. It was agenda item 7 from the November 23rd meeting that we're pulling out of the jacket. So just that way you can easily cross-reference it. And then we asked at that time also that this be referred to the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I heard what the public service chair just said. He's right. I mean, we all want to help out, but we don't issue payroll checks with deductions and retirement and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think we can issue a 1099 either. So I don't think we have that ability to. I don't think the Flower Fund's a separate corporation where we can just send out a 1099. Maybe we should incorporate it, Mr. President. I have no idea. Maybe that's the way to do it. But I don't think we've got that ability. But I think we need to refer this to the mayor. I mean, I think we even did it that night.
Yeah, we did.
But let's do it. Let's do it now while we're in full city council, so that we can get a correspondence back from the mayor by, our honorable mayor by the 15th on this matter. I just, we're in limbo here. I mean, the law department said what it said, and, who am I to buck that? But I mean, the guy put in the time, he's got the hours logged, he's got his timesheet done. So, how do we pay him? I mean, so we got to get a communication from the mayor and whoever else deals with this stuff, the auditor, the treasurer, and get it back to us by the 15th, so we have a roadmap going forward, Mr. President. I hate to put that on your lap, but I think you're going to have to sort of ride herd on that. So that's my motion. Refer to the mayor for a communication by 15th.
All right. So Councilor Rainey.
Yeah, just quickly, I know we discussed this at length, or it was discussed at length. I was at that meeting. One thing I don't think that we talked about, would it be possible if the mayor okayed a bonus, not part of a regular salary, or a bonus to the administrative assistant for work done that we could approve? Would that be legal?
I don't have that answer, but we can find out.
That would be interesting. I don't want to open a can of worms, but there's a possibility that we could do something like that.
Councilor Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's got to be a way that we can take care of this situation. I mean, Ryan did the work, as Councilor Bartley stated. He's got the timesheet and the hours he put in, and there's got to be a way that we can wrap our heads around this, where we could get him his due pay for the job he did. And I do believe that we did say we're going to send this to the mayor to see if we can get some kind of resolution through his office, whether it be COVID funds or other funds that might be available through that office. So thank you.
All right, so the motion would be to give leave to withdraw my order, but a request to the mayor in order to come up with either COVID funds or some type of per diem stipend to pay for the job that was done. Is that the request?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Right. So.
Just a point of order, Mr. President.
Yeah. Is that Councilor Graney? Yeah.
Yeah, just quickly, since the administrative assistant has left one job to go to another, there's also a possibility he could be granted severance pay from one job. I would think that's been done before in the city. A severance check would probably cover the situation. Anyway, it's just an idea.
No, I appreciate it. We'll follow up with the mayor. Councilor Leahy, your hand's still up. Councilor Tallman, your hand's still up.
All set.
Sorry, no, I'm all set. Thank you.
No worries. Just want to make sure. All right, so with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so now there was no Public Safety Committee. So Public Service, 12A, Committee on Public Service was referred. Appointment for Planning Board, recommended to be approved. This is Rosanna Lopez.
Yes, I make a motion to take off the first item off the table.
The motion is to receive, adopt, under discussion. Counselor Leahy.
Yes, thank you. We had an excellent meeting. We had some great appointments. Mayor Morse submitted some great names. I want to thank, we didn't have a quorum. However, Terry Murphy stepped up. We also had Gladys LeBron come in, and also Howie Graney was at the meeting as well. So I want to thank those people. So I think my notes are a little bit different than what the notes that we have on the agenda. So let me just quickly look at the agenda here, and it is Rosanna. Okay, so Rosanna Lopez. I make a motion that she's confirmed.
All right, the motion is to approve. Under discussion.
Under discussion, yeah, Rosanna Lopez. She came in, she moved into the city of Holyoke around 93, 94. She finished high school here. She sits on the board of Nueva Esperanza. She is a volunteer for many, many, many years. She's also good friends with our good counselor, Terry Murphy, who I believe has coached her son before, or a family member. Is that correct, Terry?
Been involved.
Okay. Yeah, she's very well known to Gladys as well. She's done a lot of work with the care center, helping out teen moms, and specifically education. Gave a great interview. I'll turn it over to Gladys or Terry.
Councilor Juan Martinez.
Yeah, again, Rosanna has been very involved in the community on many levels involved. She also worked at Mass Hire at one point. But she'd be good at, she knows our community very well. And I think she'll do well. I mean, this is volunteer, people coming forward, being volunteers. So I'm even impressed the type of people that are coming forward at this point. And happy that she applied. So
Councilor
there was a little confusion. I think there was a confusion. She was sitting, we had two Rosa. I remember there was a Rosa, I think you were calling Rosa Pentoa or somebody else. And she was sitting there, and she was there sitting waiting, and got the interview anyways. But she'll be good for us, so I'm happy.
Right. Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, the only question I had, and Councilor Leahy, at first she wasn't on our agenda, and we didn't have the mayor's letter recommending it. Have we been able to find that? Because obviously, I want to make sure that we are. I mean, I have no problem with her whatsoever. But Jeffrey, that was a question we had at committee. I don't know if Councilor Leahy was able to find that.
If I could, through the president, and Jeffrey.
Yes, we did get a letter. I met with Nilka a day or two after that and was able to get that letter from her.
Okay. And we had already had the letter, right, beforehand? Okay, thank you. And
yeah,
she's a good nominee, and I'm strongly endorse her.
Councilor Bartley, your hand's up.
Yeah, just along those same lines, just through to the chair, to the administrative assistant, I sent an email, but I didn't get a reply. Was this posted to an agenda? The appointment letter? If it was, I'm fine. I have no problem with the applicant, but it was, the applicant wasn't on the committee agenda that night, and I could have missed it, but I didn't see it posted to a city council agenda either as an appointment. So I did ask that question. I haven't had a reply.
So yeah, I got your letter, and I was working with Ryan to get that information after that, and that's when I reached out to Nilka. As far as it being on a council agenda, that would have predated me being in the role, so I'm not really sure if it would have been on an agenda prior to that.
Right. So, Mr. President, yeah, I'm not being mean, right, Jeff? So, okay. So, but the regular order is, and I know it preceded you, but it precedes you by a month. So it's one of those things where I looked it up myself. I didn't happen to see the name posted to a city council agenda. So I might think that we I mean, I think the rules are we're supposed to go through regular order here and not appoint somebody without a public posting. So I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable only for that reason of approving this. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm back on to October 6th when we received the majority of these, and I do not see her name listed. So I can say it'd probably be better procedure to table it to have legal make sure that we're in compliance.
Okay.
Because it's October 6th would have been where all the other appointees are listed, and she is not listed there. Just on my sheet alone. So I'd say motion to table this one just so we make sure we're in compliance and have legal look at it.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I think Counselor wants to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was Counselor Leahy? Oh, Counselor Leahy, sorry.
Thank you. So I know that we did receive the sort of appointment letter. I'm not sure if that's what Counselor Bartley is talking about, or if it wasn't listed on the agenda for the evening that this was taken up in public service. Yeah, are you talking about it being posted to the public service committee agenda, or are you just talking about receiving the letter from the mayor's office?
So I didn't get a letter from the mayor's office. I didn't see it was not certainly wasn't posted to the public service committee, but I think more to the point, it wasn't even communicated to the full city council, so it could be referred to the public service committee. So I don't know how she even got there.
We did get it. We did get it. I mean, things.
Oh, that's great, but I didn't see it on a city council agenda.
I'm looking for it, but go ahead. We could table it. It's fine.
No, that's it.
Does Jeffrey have a date of the letter?
So just looking at the letter too, it hasn't been stamped. In essence, you'll get a city clerk stamp on it as to when received and then referred to public service. That has not occurred with this.
Okay.
So that
make a
in and of
motion we table
itself says you have to table it, send it to legal to tell us if we have to put it on the agenda to then go. Which, I mean, they did an interview. We'll just follow proper form now.
Sounds good. Okay,
So
so make a motion.
to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? B is the Committee on Public Services referred mayor's appointment at Daphne Board as a member of the Holyoke Redevelopment Authority, recommended that be confirmed.
Take a motion to receive and confirm.
Motion is receive and confirm. Under discussion, Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, it was good to have her in front of us. She's no stranger to any one of us, I don't believe. You know, she lives downtown. She's been in the city of Holyoke, I think at the end of 2003, she said she moved in. She became very active very quickly. She bought a row house. She's been involved with the city of Holyoke, the government, for a long time. She got involved at an official level in 2011 when then Mayor Pluta asked her to be a part of the master plan. And her role on that was the citizen participation, making sure that the citizens got out and voiced their concerns and making sure they expressed exactly what they wanted to do for this Citrus City revitalization. She did a good job with that. She's definitely she's definitely been in City Hall many times over the years, and I think this is a good appointment for her.
Anyone further? Councilor McGivern.
I'd just like to speak in favor of the appointment. I think Daphne's would be a wonderful addition to the Redevelopment Authority. And I think she has all the credentials, as Councilor Leahy pointed out, and certainly been active for many years within the city. I'm just curious, and who is she replacing?
Pat Duffy.
Duffy, yeah.
Good
Pat
point.
Duffy.
I figured
Got
that
a
one
new job.
out. Okay. Thank you.
She's gonna be a little busy now.
Councilor Tallman.
Yeah, I'll echo my colleague's remarks. I've known Daphne since I've been on the board, since she came to Holyoke, and really appreciate the really involvement she's had in her community, and really a dedicated individual. And so anything she does put herself or mind to, I'm sure she'll do a great job. So I very much endorse her candidacy for this position.
Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. I just also want to speak in favor of Daphne. She's really been an advocate of downtown redevelopment, so I think that this particular committee is a really great fit for her. And not to mention all the work that she did to help pass the Community Preservation Act in the city, which is now driving funds to all sorts of historic and land preservation efforts in the city. So very, very nice pick. Thank you.
Seeing no one further, so the motion is to receive and adopt, which is to confirm the appointment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Councilor President?
Yep.
I chat, if I could, through you to our city clerk, because this did come up. How are they going to get sworn in? Is that via Zoom? What's the process after tonight?
I think the state is allowing us to, I don't remember if it was the state or if it was the law department, but we decided people could just swear in after, like when City Hall opens back up again, but are allowed to continue on with their boards once they're confirmed by the city council.
Okay, all right, thank you.
12C, public service was referred to mayor's appointment of Harry Maldonado.
Make a motion to
Commission.
receive and appoint this individual.
Motion is receive and confirm the appointment. Under discussion, Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Another great appointment, another great man. Everybody know, I mean, I would say everybody here knows him. Did a lot of work, bringing in East Hampton Savings Bank into the city of Holyoke, which is fantastic. He sits on the Chamber of Commerce now. He also sits on, I believe, he still sits at the Planning Board.
He used to.
I think he left planning board to go to the historic.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you left that. Gladys has done a lot of work volunteering and working with him in the past. Gladys brought up some great points. One of the good things about Harry, he's Holyoke's son. I mean, he knows a lot about this place. He knows a lot about the history. Very concerned about the buildings. He's already been walking through the different buildings. It's another good appointment.
Councilor Anderson Burgos.
Yes, I want to also mention, I know I missed out on Daphne, and I am very pleased. I've met Daphne, absolutely love her. She's very passionate. Harry, I also got to meet, and Harry is a very caring person. He's a good listener, very well educated, very well mannered. He will do this city very well in these appointments. Both of them, actually, they're very great people.
Councilor Tallman, I see your hand up. You're on mute, Councilor. You're all set. Okay.
All set.
All right. So this one is 12C for Harry. Anyone further regarding this position? All right. The motion is to receive and approve to confirm. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 12D, Committee on Public Service was referred a mayor's appointment of Helene Busby to serve as Park and Rec Commissioner.
Received, adopt, and appoint.
Adopt and appoint. Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, thank you. So we had a clerical issue. Our email, we're emailing back and forth, and then going to spam. She had indicated to me a week prior that she would not be able to attend the meeting. However, she didn't hear back from me because her email went to my spam folder. But we did communicate the date before the meeting, and she said that she will do everything in her power to get out of the meeting. That she works for the state, she's an attorney for the state, and it was down in Boston. And I said, no such thing. Technically it's my mistake. So why don't you just give me a call and we can touch base that way. Also, I asked her to send her her resume over to either Jeffrey or to Ryan, and they emailed it out. We all got a copy of that. Having talked to her, she seems like a go-getter. She moved in here with her partner up near Community Field. Community Field is one of the reasons why she moved into the city, and more importantly, moved so close to the field. She is an attorney, as I said. She specializes in children. She does work for the state. Her child is going to school in the Holyoke Public School System over the dual language program over at Eaton White School, along with my niece Diane. That's that.
Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Apologies, that was up from last time.
Oh, no worries. Counselor Lisi.
Thank you. I'll speak in favor of this appointment as well. Helene is absolutely, very intelligent woman, and very interested in the parks and how to make better use of the parks. I think that since she does have a small child, she's in the parks often and just thinking about how they could better serve our families, both in terms of the apparatus and then also the landscape and things like that. So this is another good pick for our different committees in the city.
Counselor Murphy.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the fact she's kind of visited some of the parks already, and she also made some suggestions as to one of the things we're trying to do is to provide more shade so people can be sitting in the parks while kids may not be in the sun all day long, which I already have 1 or 2 parks in Ward 2 which are in need of that kind of thing. So I thought she did her homework ahead of time, and if she does as well as a Parks and Rec commissioner as she does as an applicant, we're going to be in good shape.
Counselor Tallman.
Yeah, I think this is a great pick. And I'm glad that the mayor finally appointed somebody to make that commission now a 3-member commission instead of a 2-member. And it's important with she having a young child in the community to be aware of the parks and what can be done with the parks firsthand. So I think this is a great selection.
All right. Seeing no one further, motion is to confirm the appointment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? E is the Committee on Public Service for a mayoral appointment of, I'm not even going to butcher that name. I
Bernadette
apologize.
Delaware.
I thank you, Counselor. Commissioner for the Planning Board.
Otherwise, AKA, you can call him Tony.
Tony.
From Tony's Pizza. He's one of the best guys going.
Yeah, I didn't want to butcher it that way. So, Counselor Leahy, motion is to receive and confirm.
Dino's Pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also have to say that my daughter Paige, who goes to school with his son Harmon, is pushing for this appointment as well because he is that nice to everybody. So everybody knows Dino's. Everybody probably didn't know that was his first name, but it is. He owns 2 different properties. Unfortunately, he's our second appointment from New York. After 9/11 happened, he pretty much lost everything. He packed up his things. He moved. He bought a house here in Holyoke. He opened a business in East Hampton. But then several years later, he decided to open his restaurant in Holyoke, which we're very happy that he did. One of the things he didn't bring up, but I felt that was necessary to bring up, was during this whole COVID fiasco that we have. It's a terrible thing. He took it upon himself to help out the frontline workers, people that couldn't provide for themselves. He did over 11,000 meals out of his restaurant to help people at the Holyoke Soldiers Home, the Holyoke Medical Center, people that couldn't provide for themselves. He's that type of guy. He's a classy guy, and I'm very, very happy that he stepped up and he accepted this, because he's been asked to be on different boards throughout the years, and for one reason or another, he just didn't think that it was the right time. But now that his son is going into high school and his daughter's in college, he has a little bit more time. Not a lot more time, but a little bit more time.
Counselor Sullivan.
Yep. Thank you. I'm also very, very glad to see Tony's name on here. It's good to see really a practical, common sense businessman being appointed to a very, very important board. We've seen a lot of issues with new businesses coming into town, and I think he's going to be a real asset to this group and really help move things forward.
Councilor Bartley.
Yeah, I just want to say the same thing that Mike did. Also, it's my understanding that I don't know who's replacing who, but whether the prior applicant or not is whether they're replacing Pat. But I think Eileen Reagan is not being reappointed, or she's kind of hanging it up. But I want to thank her for all her service and all her hard work, and I really appreciated her diligence in the planning board meetings that I attended. I know she chaired the planning board for several years, and she certainly participated vocally in a lot of meetings where the planning board came to the ordinance committee. And I, for one, appreciate that when committee members speak up and have and add something to the agenda as opposed to just going along with it. I think we're all here to sort of weigh in with not just an opinion or a feeling, but with a position based upon something substantive. And I think Eileen did that, and I think she was a real credit to the city. So we'll miss her. But on the other hand, we're happy with Tony. Couldn't get a finer pick, so I compliment the mayor on his selection. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Councilor Bacon, then Councilor McGivern.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment that I'm very happy the mayor was able to find a good Ward 5 businessman and resident for an appointment to the planning board. Thanks.
Councilor McGivern.
I don't know, Mr. President. I'm going to have to shut my video off to get called upon quicker here, you know?
It's a tough one, you know?
Councilor Bacon and Councilor Grady. I'll just be quick.
The chairman knows who the important people are, Joe.
I know, Al. I will be real quick, Mr. President. A great pick by the mayor. Not only has Tony got the credentials, but I think he brings a business perspective to the planning board, which is important. Councilor Leahy, I just hope he knows that he now has no time once he starts meeting with the planning board. Thank you.
Councilor Lisi.
Thank you. I want to echo my support for Tony. I do think it's nice to have somebody from the business community on the planning board. And since the ordinance committee works so closely with the planning board, I'm excited to get to work with him and also Rosanna when she's appointed. The one last thing that I do want to note is Eileen Regan was on the planning board for many years, for as long as I've been on the city council, if not longer. So it's almost, I would say she's probably on the planning board for 15 years, and I think that she learned a lot. She definitely had a tremendous amount of expertise of planning and zoning laws, and really trying to balance the needs of the city with the ability for projects to move forward. So wonderful to have her and her many years of service, and just want to recognize that.
Councilor Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. President. A great pick, great selection by the mayor, someone from the business community. And as Jimmy stated, Tony is one that gives of himself in the community. So I've known Tony for a number of years since he's been in Holyoke, actually, and really happy about the pick. And I'm sure he'll do a great job on the planning board. Thank you.
All right. Anyone further? Seeing none, motion is to receive and grant or approve the confirmation. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 12F is from Public Service, whom was referred to mayoral appointment of Michael J. Mcardy as Commissioner of the Licensing Board.
I make a motion to receive and appoint.
Motion is receive and confirm. Councilor Leahy.
Yeah, we all know Michael, attorney Moriarty. So as you know, it was probably it was a very short, quick appointment interview. He didn't really say a lot. I'm just kidding. He's probably home watching this, going to kill me. No, but one of the things I didn't know, and actually he didn't know either, that there is a Republican slot for the license board. Now, I knew that for the voters board, but I didn't know that for the license board. So that's kind of interesting. It is past, he has represented some bars and some clients that had to deal with the ABCC. However, since he's kind of been out of law for many years now, he doesn't see that as a conflict at all. He won't think that's a conflict. But he has, as I said, he has worked for people that had issues or had to deal with the ABCC in the past, so he knows how it works. He's no stranger to the license committee itself, and I think he's going to be a level-headed, straightforward, great addition to the committee.
Seeing no one further, motion is to receive and confirm. Michael Mcardy, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? There was no DGNR, no charter rules, no joint city council and school committee, so we're on to motions, orders, and resolutions. 16 is from Councilor Murphy, order that the Public Safety Committee meet with the representatives of the Opioid Substance Abuse Task Force, the Health Director, Judge William Hadley, to discuss the need of a short-term residential transition program to assist individuals returning from the treatment program. The goal would be to allow and improve a chance of long-term success for these individuals. The resident capacity would probably be around 20 beds. Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. So I was fortunate to be able to meet with the Sergeant Hart invited me to go to Ray Street and meet with the people on the Opioid Substance Abuse Task Force, which included behavioral health counselors, detectives from the police department. Sergeant Hart was there, former, I think Sergeant Fletcher was there. Several people from the sheriff's department was there. So a number of these orders that I put in today were reflective of that meeting, but this one was the one that I think they really emphasized a need for. They have been able to successfully get people into treatment, but then have issues when people come back and they don't have a support network that they can be associated with long enough to get them back into the community and feeling strong in terms of their recovery. So their suggestion, they've mentioned a few places in Ward 2, and I didn't mention anything in here because I think we'll open that for discussion. And I did want to invite Judge Hadley because he has made an attempt to meet with people to try to figure out a way that the community can deal with the opioid crisis and be more successful in terms of getting treatment for people, but also in terms of being successful, giving them a better chance at a successful life. So I think there are 40 beds in Springfield, but they pretty much indicated to me that most of the time when they try to have someone go there, the beds are already occupied because Springfield gets first priority, and pretty much that's why I suggested 20 beds, kind of half of what Springfield does. And again, I do hope that we can at least put this in the committees, see what we can do. We got people coming back to the community, and we certainly want to give them a chance to have a healthy, successful life.
Is this, Counselor, is this going to a committee?
Yeah, Public Safety Committee.
All right, Public Safety, okay. All right, so this is going to go to Public Safety. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 17 is from Councilor Murphy, order that the DGNR committee. Actually, Councilor Murphy, I see the first sentence now. I'm just trying to catch up here.
That's
all right,
okay.
so order that DGNR committee meet with the Holyoke media to put together the action plan to televise the city council meetings and subcommittee meetings. Translated into Spanish, the goal should be to televise within 48 hours of the actual meeting. So
Make a
this
motion
would
to
be
refer to the DGR committee, and if I can just have a moment.
Councilor Murphy.
Again, this Chesapeake Community Alliance and Wayfinders, one of the comments that consistently gets as we have meetings, and obviously we're having Zoom meetings, but we aren't getting as many people involved. And one of the concerns has always been that we need to be able to get the communication out to the Spanish community that they start to feel comfortable with what's going on in the city and getting more knowledge and more comfortable being involved and making decisions. So I had suggested that I would file this, and you know, I know there are personnel that work with Holyoke Media that I think would be very capable of doing this. I don't know what our contract is with Holyoke Media in terms of cost, but I know one of the public comments suggested that the 48 hours is too late. I don't know how long it takes to do it, and I've had someone say, "Well, can we do it simultaneously?" I don't know, but I think we need to get to the point where every one of our citizens has a chance to review what goes on at city council meetings or subcommittee meetings and feel comfortable hearing what's going on. And so that's what I filed it, and I'm hoping that we can do that and get the community as a whole more informed and more comfortable with what's going on.
Councilor Bar Martinez.
I'd like to be signed on to this order. I actually filed an order several years ago where I also gave an idea when I was at the school board. There was Gustavo Acosta with the Avanza project through the Holyoke Community College, and our minutes they had started to even translate minutes and doing some subtitles, and I had suggested that. I don't know what happened to my order, but I have filed this some time ago regarding a request and recommendations from the community in regards to how to get involved in communication.
I welcome you as a co-signer, Gladys. Thank you.
I would love to be part of that. Thank you.
Councilor McGivern was next, and we'll go right down.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quick, because I know it's going to committee. Certainly, it's something we've talked about for decades, and the technology is caught up to where I think there's more options out there of how to do this and to provide this service to many constituents who are in favor and want to hear the meetings and translated into Spanish. One of them, Councilor Brown Martinez just mentioned, is important. The actual minutes themselves can be done a lot quicker by voice translations. And I like the second idea of Councilor Brown Martinez of subtitles. But what I would caution the committee on is, and ironically enough, if you know Judge Hadley, he recently through the state did a town hall meeting via Zoom, and Holyoke Media was good enough to put that onto the public access channel. But when it came to the Spanish translation, it was a voiceover. And quite frankly, the voiceover looks like a bad B movie, if you know what I mean, where the person is speaking in one language and the voiceover is in another language, and it's not matching up with the lips, and it's not matching up. And I think that would just be would not serve the purpose of what we're trying to do. I think we should subtitles. I think would be great, and certainly minutes translated is always something that is needed. Thank you.
Councilor Bartley.
I'm just gonna make sure we send a copy to Holyoke Media. That's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Lisi.
Thanks. I just wanted to see if I could be added to this order. I do also support subtitles as opposed to the full translation after the fact. I think if there's a way to do live subtitling while we're talking, that would be ideal. We may not have the ability or staff to do that, but that would be the best. Finally, I think that one of the lower hanging fruit may be getting our city council agendas. So not even the minutes, but the agendas posted in dual language. And I was just checking the website to see if that is happening. And I don't see it at this point in time.
And I welcome your co-signing.
Thank you.
Councilor Hernandez.
Yes, thank you. I would also like to be signed onto this order, and thank you, Councilor Murphy, for filing it. It's extremely important that we're able to communicate to the whole community of Holyoke, including those of only Spanish language speaking only, what's going on in our council, what we're discussing, and like Councilor Lisi said, at least have the agenda in Spanish would be great. and then somehow, I don't know if in this day and age and with the Zoom meetings, we can have maybe like a separate room or a room within the meeting and have that translated without disrupting what we're saying. That way it's not confusing, but there should be a way that it can be done. And thank you, Councilor Murphy, for filing this. Very important.
Thank you for co-signing it. And if I,
Hold on, Councilor Leahy, then Councilor
Yeah,
Tallman, then
very
Councilor Burns.
quickly. I know this is going committee and we should limit our conversation for the meeting. However, I do also want to be added to as a co-signer.
Thank you, Jim.
I think maybe if we can, if I go through the chair and go to Joe, maybe we can bring back Cynthia Minor to help us out. You remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
No comment.
Councilor Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Terry, great order. I would also like to be added on to this as a co-signer. I think it's very important that the whole community gets to know what's going on in their local government, and there's a way that we can probably get this out there. I know it's been discussed, and I remember Gladys bringing this up several years ago, but I know there's some ways that we could even chip away at it and slowly get things translated in another language, but very important that we do that. So thank you for putting that forward.
Thank you.
Councilor Anderson Burgos.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Murphy, for creating this order. I greatly appreciate it, as many other residents from this community. Please, I also want to be a co-sponsor of this order.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And also, I just this is a thought. I'm on board, obviously, with subtitles, but I also don't want to leave out the fact that there might be people who don't know how to read, and so that way we are going to need some kind of audio to go along with what's being said in Spanish. I know that might be harder for aesthetic reasons, that it's probably not a good idea because it doesn't look well, it doesn't, but the point is that it gets the message across. So it's very important that we have multiple ways of communicating to our community what they need to hear and what they need to be updated with. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Murphy, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, just, again, first of all, I appreciate all the support, and I do think it's something that, however we do it, it's time that we do it. So as we were talking about it, some people were talking about if we could do a simultaneous in Spanish, and I'm not sure if that's, I kind of like the idea, but I'm not sure we have that kind of technology. And as you all know, I'm not the most techie person here. Even Mr. Todd, you make me look like you're very professionally techie compared to me. But whatever we can do, I think Holyoke Media would be, and I know several other people that do some of the work for Holyoke Media could be involved in this, and I think they would like to be involved in it. And hopefully we can get this going. So maybe in the next couple of months we can actually have something that we can announce that it's going to be all of our residents have a chance to watch and learn and listen and participate. So thank you very much.
So the motion is to send this to DGNR with a copy to Holyoke Media. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 18 is from Councilor Murphy. Order that the DGNR committee meet with Holyoke Media, the mayor, the health director, and representatives of the opioid substance abuse task force program to present a 5 to 10 minute video to be televised on Channel 15 on the importance of persons not contributing to panhandlers. The emphasis should be on the negative impact of doing so in terms of panhandling, rejecting offers, which could much more significantly improve the quality of their lives. Once the program is completed, it should be shown just prior to city council meetings on Channel 15. So, Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, make a motion to be referred to the DGR committee. This was one of the recommendations of the task force, that we need to really go out there and communicate it, that we can be compassionate, but we need to be able to try to improve people's lives. And several weeks ago, we had a public safety committee meeting at which Sean Gonsalves, the health director, emphasized with no uncertain terms that if we want to improve the lives of the people that are panhandling. We need to try to get people not to be making contributions. And there are several other orders, obviously, which drew some concern from citizens, and I appreciate their concern. But then at the same meeting with the task force, especially the counselors, emphasized to me the importance of when they go there, they're being told that because they're getting financial resources from panhandling, they don't really need the city services. And that's, with all due respect, that all I'm trying to do with these orders is to try to find a way to get as many of those people that are panhandling and in need of service to take advantage of the services that are being offered to them. And at that meeting with the task force, I mean, there was frustration on their faces that, you know, and the meeting with the health director, the same thing, the frustrations that we know we can help provide better quality of life, but because I hate to say it, but Holyoke has been probably one of the most successful places for panhandling, that they're not accepting those services. And again, the goal of all these things is to accept the services. I think if we put a program right in front of city council meeting, which does get a lot of viewers, and if we start to do it in both English and Spanish, I would assume we're going to get more viewers. And it's not, I am certainly not trying to be hateful towards anybody. And anybody, I hope anybody that knows me know that I'm not like that. I just would like to see us get to the point where we can offer a service that they know they should accept and that they do accept. And that's what the goal of this is.
Councilor Hernandez, your hands up from prior. Okay. All right. So this is to DGNR with a copy to all the people referenced.
Correct.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Does Councilor, pardon me? Thank you. Thank you, President McGee. Does Public Safety Committee have a date yet when they'll be taking these up, or is it not until after the new year?
The only one that's in public, they did both the DGR, so I don't know.
Yeah, those went to DGNR. Yeah.
The first one that I did file in public safety would be my first meeting in January, because I've got an agenda already for December 9th, and I try to give 1 week advance.
And I'm sorry for the confusion. Councilor Bartley, as chair of DGR, do you know if these would be taken up shortly or probably not until after the new year? Okay, thank you.
All right, so 19 is from Councilor Murphy. Order that the DGNR committee meet with the Holyoke media about the possibility of having more programming on Channel 15. Is it possible to have some regular half-hour program which would both entertain and inform residents?
Make a motion to be referred to the DGR
So
committee.
to DGNR with a copy to Holyoke media.
And again, this came, if I can, this again came from the Chestnut Community Alliance asking if we could end up having more programming both in English and in Spanish. But again, with the idea that, you know, we have a lot of vacant time on Channel 15 where we're just either playing music or flashing commercials. And I think there are people out there that would like to be able to come and do programming. So, you know, I just would like Holyoke Media to take a look at it and see if we can do more of that. So thank you.
Thank you. So to DGNR. Oh,
I would add my name to that order with the maker's permission.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So adding Councilor Lacey.
Mine's too, please.
Absolutely.
Adding Councilor Anderson Burgos. All right, so for 19, it's to send to DGNR with a copy to Holyoke Media. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 20 is from Councilor Murphy. Order that the Ordinance Committee consider an ordinance which would create a penalty for any driver handing out anything from a car window as a traffic safety violation. So this is to ordinance.
Make a motion to refer to the Ordinance Committee.
All right, to ordinance. Oh, Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, again, I know this through, I got, you know, I had several residents contact me today with concerns about this, that I was violating their rights. And then again, this was one of the recommendations that came from the task force in terms of trying to discourage people from contributing, but also from the fact that people that are contributing and you're on a roadway, it's not the safest thing. But again, the goal of this was not to be punishing people. The goal of this was try to get us in a situation where more and more of those people that are needing services accept the offers that we are making, and we are constantly going out there making the offers. So that's the intent. I just want to make that clear.
Councilor
Mr.
McGivern.
President,
Hold on, Councilor Green. Councilor McGivern.
Mr. President, I'd just like to speak in favor of the motion to refer to committee. Thank you.
Councilor Graney.
just a quick editorial note. Any driver handing out anything is pretty vague. And whether it's a moving vehicle or a stop vehicle, all these issues would have to be addressed in committee. Thank you.
Councilor Sullivan.
Yeah, I just want to commend Councilor Murphy for trying and continuing this battle. For any people to suggest that we're in any way trying to punish anybody or that anybody on this council lacks any compassion is just not understanding the gravity of the issue and what it means to a lot of other people in the city. When we have so many programs from Gandara, Hope for Holyoke, Kate's Kitchen, Friends of the Homeless, Tapestry, we have outreach grants that we have now seen that total hundreds of thousands of dollars for the police to work with mental health professionals to reach out to people. We have the Salvation Army, Lorraine's Kitchen. I can go veteran services. We've heard from our people in the veteran services about outreach that they perform. And to say this is for a certain segment of the public, for some reason, doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that they are in complete denial of the facts that there are a lot of scammers just taking advantage of the public out there. And that to me is what is really frustrating. They are a complete farce, and it is causing, they have been invited and welcomed into the city over the course of the last several years, more so than in any place else I travel around. It so disgusts me now even to see on Thanksgiving Day where people brought and gave meals to panhandlers. They weren't even open, just left on the curbings. These are meals that were, the people weren't there for food. They weren't there for help, all right? And the people that were contributing, these are meals that could have gone to somebody that would have used them in one of the countless other programs that existed that day. And it really is become a disgusting problem around the city.
All right, seeing no one further, the order is, or motion is to send to Ordinance Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Item 21 is a duplicate,
Is a duplicate,
of item
so-
16, so if we can just give that leave to 21.
So
would leave off.
21 is to give leave to withdraw. It's a duplicate from 18. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And item 22 will be adopted and referred to the city engineer.
All right, so 22 is from Councilor Murphy, or that the city engineer consider whether there are any means of construction or traffic islands which would create traffic safety concerns, but or can make it more difficult for anyone to panhandle on the islands. So this would be do you want it to go to committee? So it's going to go to.
If we can, I'll have it go to the city engineer with a copy to public safety.
All right, so motion is to receive, send to the city engineer with a copy to public safety. Councilor Sullivan, your hand up for this one, or is that from before?
Oh, once again, forgot to take it down.
Just making sure, no worries. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so 23 and 24, we're done. We're on to 25 from Councilor Vacan, that the DPW place the radar speed feedback signs at the section of Homestead Ave between the college and Westfield Road.
Receive, adopt, and refer to DPW.
Second. All right, so motion.
I'd like to sign on to that, Mr. President.
Yeah, okay. Adding Councilor Graney. So motion is receive, adopt, send to DPW. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Counselor Anderson Burgos is 26. And this is order that the city of Holyoke adopt the truck exclusion law for West Franklin Street.
Yeah, I'd like to also add Sargent Street. It should have been Sargent Street as well. But that's actually my fault. Yeah, that's my fault. I didn't add Sargent Street.
Mr. President?
Counselor Graney?
Yeah, just a question through the chair to Counselor Anderson Burgos. You know, I'd like to sign on to an order like this, but when you say truck exclusion, I mean, do you mean trailer truck, van? You know, I mean, there are so many different types of trucks. You know, certainly trailer trucks or trucks of that magnitude, that would be feasible. But you know, a lot of small business owners have small vans and different trucks like that are living in that area. Because I'm a resident of Ward 6 myself, you know.
Yeah, no, it's not for the chair. It's not small vans or stuff like that. This is big trucks. And this can all be discussed in committee. But yeah, it's big trucks. There's a sharp turn, as you already know, Councilor Graney. There's a sharp turn there, and as I mentioned before, my vehicle is difficult to drive through there, and it's only a coupe. So I can't imagine why trucks are even going down Sargent and West Franklin to begin with. So yeah, though this is in regards to big delivery, huge trucks. It's not like targeting small businesses or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to sign on to that under those circumstances.
My pleasure.
And this came from public safety where this was all addressed and this was recommended to do this. Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And then if I'm not mistaken, the superintendent DPW and the engineer both indicated that it would have to be, was it 7 to 7 or something along that lines, that they were going to be banning. It wasn't going to be a 24-hour ban because they needed to let certain.
Right.
Yeah, there was a limitation. So we can have that in committee to draft it all up correctly. Councilor McGivern?
If we could just get a question answered from legal for committee discussion. The truck exclusion zone usually includes anything with a commercial vehicle plate. And no pickup trucks aren't required anymore, but small vans that are commercial do have to have that. And I think we have to understand if we can only address big trucks. But just if we could ask legal to weigh in on that.
Okay. So motion is receive and refer to ordinance and amending it. So amending it to say West Franklin and Sargent Street. So on the amendment, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed. So send to ordinance with the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. 27 is
Mr. President, can we take 27, 28 as a package, ship them off to DGR, please?
Second. I won't argue with you. 27 is from Councilor, actually suspend rules, take up 27, 28 as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
27 is from Councilor Bartley, Councilor Vacan, according to Mass General Law. The council declare Old Rock Valley Road parcel identified as, and it gives all the measurements as surplus. And then 28, the Honorable City Council, in accordance with Mass General Law 30B, accept an offer of $6,000 from Gregory Vigarola to purchase 416 Appleton Street. So both to DGNR. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we suspend the rules, take 29 and 30 as a package and ship those to finance, please?
So these are from Councilor Bartley. Suspend rules, take up 29 and 30 as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 29 is that the council and other city departments look at minimizing legal notice advertising costs. There are now 3 newspapers covering Holyoke and each provides legal ads. Please refer to the city administrative assistant who shall report back to the finance committee and report comparing the ads, rates, and relative factors. So it goes to finance. 30 is the city council refer to the law department a question asking whether a petitioner to the city council requiring a public hearing be in a business, an individual, or private or a public or private organization, and or any petitioning entity be compelled to provide public notice via newspaper or record, or whether the expensive outlets is allowed. Please determine how or whether the city council can petition the state legislature or home rule petition to waive those notices. Also to the finance committee. All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye. All opposed? 31. From Councilor Bartley, the Holyoke City Council encourages all city department heads to provide correspondence to Spanish-speaking persons in Spanish to extent feasible. The City Council particularly encourages that technical letters or mayor's office, school department, law department, building department, planning department, city clerk, and the City Council by translating into Spanish upon request. This is a refile from 12/3/2019. Councilor Bartley?
Yeah, I just go on. Refer to the
So
mayor,
refer
department
to the
heads, and
mayor, department heads,
Public
Could I co-sign that with you,
Service
David?
Committee.
All
Could
right,
I
so two
co-sign that
public
with you,
service.
David?
Yep, adding Councilor Murphy. All right, two public service with referring to the mayor and all department heads.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 34 is for myself, where at the Finance Committee invite in Mike McManus, Robert Parent to discuss and addressing budgeting for sidewalks, trees, and equipment. So to finance. All those in favor?
You add me to that, Todd?
Yep. Adding Councilor.
Add me to that too, Todd.
And me,
Could you
Juan Andersonberg.
add Councilor Graney to that?
Okay, adding everyone.
Everyone, add me.
Yeah, Todd.
Everyone that said it, not everyone, right? But Councilor Bartley.
Yeah, I just want to make a friendly amendment if I could, because you've got, I think, a lot of the bases covered. But one of the things complaints I get is not just trees, but stump removal, tree removal. I will say this: that by a miracle of miracles, we had a tree and a massive tree fall, and the stump was removed on Northampton and Gilman within the last week. And I actually got a thank you card from the constituent, and I have to credit the mayor, because the mayor really stepped in, and Ms. McManus stepped in to say thank you, Mr. Bartley. We're actually shocked. But those are nice things when they happen, but I think we need to get a little more organized when it comes to removing, not just kind of catch can. So hopefully we can. At one point we had a tree climber, I think, through about 4th grade budgets, and we never actually hired anybody. But it would be nice if we had somebody could do this on a regular basis, so we know that, here's a bunch of tree stumps that are in whatever street, you name it, O'Connor Avenue or whatever, and we've got to do something about it. So that I just like to add that to your order, if I may, and sign on to your order, please.
Right. So adding Councilor Bartley and looking to amend after trees, add tree stumps.
Yeah, removal.
On the amendment, all those in favor?
Mr. Bartley,
All
Mr.
opposed?
Mr.
Councilor
President?
Tallman, sorry, Councilor Tallman.
Yeah, if you could just add me onto that order also.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
This will go to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 35 is from Councilor McGee.
Did that one.
They already did that one, so that's gone. 36 from Councilor McGivern. It is that they're hereby appropriated $6,934.04 from firefighters lieutenants to injured on duty.
Make a motion to suspend the rules for the purpose of passing the first reading and adoption.
So 1, 2, 3 people. So motion is to receive, adopt, pass first reading. Councilor McGivern.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, it's our accounting procedure to remove the salaries of people who are fire safety people who are injured on duty. Some of them are very temporary, and just put them into a different line item for accounting purposes and tracking of when they are actually on duty.
So seeing no questions, pass first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Make a motion to pass the second reading.
Motion is to pass the second reading. Clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting for the transfer for injured on duty.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
LeBron Martinez,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Tallman,
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Unanimous
Nothing
vote.
from police?
No, I don't have one.
Okay.
I looked. All right, so on to everything here. Double check. I have late file A, which is from Counselor McGivern, that there hereby be transferred $5,102 from tax title certification to vacation buyback. So I go to finance.
Receive, refer to Committee on Finance.
All those in favor?
All right.
All opposed? We already did
Mr.
B. Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Counselor.
sorry, what, can you just tell me the department on that?
That is
Tax collector.
Thank you.
tax collector. Here we go. C, we already did B. C is a late file on a CPA fiscal year 21 project funding recommendations. So that would go to finance as well.
Didn't all that stuff go to DGR?
Is it going to DGNR?
We've always done it in finance.
Yeah.
I know, but all the stuff that goes with that, you guys sent to DGR this time.
DGNR is
We did.
Just saying.
busy for the next two. You want to take it up for the
It's
10th,
the stuff
Joe?
that goes with the stuff you sent to DGR.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I sent it to DGNR. then.
DGNR.
All right, DGNR. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's right, David.
We did get a communication. It wasn't marked as a late file. That's from the trustees of the reservation. Was that a late file or no?
Yes, it was.
So that's D. Late file D is the trustees of the reservation. It was a letter that we all received from
DGR too.
Robert Warren. So send that to
DGNR.
DGNR. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That's all I have, unless I missed
President,
something.
President.
Councilor McGivern first, then Councilor Graney.
Were there 2 grants from the police department? They're supposed to come from the mayor's office?
They did not make it, so they'll be filed for the next meeting. I saw an email saying for the next meeting. I think.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think they were signed off by the mayor yet, Councilor McGivern, that's why.
I understand, but and that's the mayor's issue. There's some time sensitivity issues with one of them.
Yeah, I think
Burns
the way
grant.
I read the last email just before the meeting was we needed the mayor to sign off, and they thought they had enough time before the 15th. I think that's how I read it.
But the 15th, first of the year.
Well, I guess what they're going to have to do is talk to us on the 15th and see if we'll approve it then. I think that's what they're asking.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Graney.
Yeah, Mr. President, I just wanted to, through the chair, ask Chairman Bartley of the DGNR committee if he's going to ask for some overtime pay for his committee.
I think he left, but motion is to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.